As he was mentioning, there is 14 of us being selected this year by a committee at IFFI who are merging technology and media together to kind of further the impact of storytelling. So you will see kind of some of the examples of how each of our products or content are different, but yet it is all helping film advance into its next stage of evolution, whether it's immersive gaming, Greg will talk about, or 360 environments and spaces that Akash will talk about. My experience in the field has been in creation of virtual reality 360 documentaries and films for the past year, one of which is selected and being shown here at IFFI at the Expo. I'm a filmmaker, producer by profession from the States, and I became interested in the medium of 360 because, as you know, with film, there's two dimensions and a screen, a 2D screen, which we work with. And now with the emergence of 360 or the creation of 360, there is an opportunity for storytelling to be all immersive and around you. So it creates a whole different new dimension. You can look up and you can look down and you can look to your sides. So that fascinated me as a creator. And also there are other projects within the tech and media space, which I'll explore a little bit further once we have the others also kind of do an intro of how I'm using technology for film and media. So I'll pass it on to Akash.
And I was always interested in how do you go to the next level of storytelling? And what I've learned is that technology lets you do things that, only 15, 20 years ago people weren't even imagining. My goal was to take that technology and have a tremendous social impact by empowering children to study in a totally new way. Our educational system is old, so we use technology to make an immersive experience where young people are inside a game. And because of that, the technology gives them an excitement for learning, it changes everything, and it lets us tell stories totally differently. Just as these guys are talking about 360-degree stories, we're suddenly inside a universe. It can be anywhere. It can be anywhere. It can be on Earth. It can be on any planet. So your ability to tell stories because of the technology, and what we're doing is very cartoony and fun, but you can do it in any type of style with everything that's available to you now.
Yeah. What I like something about Greg's world is so kids could actually, once playing the game, could be inside a game and learn about any particular subject by collaborating. And what this does also is it creates a platform where, let's say, kids from one country, another country are actually learning together. So instead of being in this one classroom with 40 people, that we have all gone to school and there's 40 of us sitting in the same classroom, you enter a classroom where kids from all over the world are there. So that's something really cool and exciting. So let me do a demonstration here of what the product he has created. I'm promoting for you here. See, this has two cameras on both sides. Each camera captures 180 degrees from this side and 180 degrees on that side, if I got my math right. So when the camera is here, okay, it's visible over here. You guys are visible. People on the side are visible. Also, up and down is also visible. And this is really exciting because the cost of this thing is really low compared to what's in the market. And it's amazing because it goes right here on your phone, as easy as this, and boom, you got 360 right there. So anybody could take pictures, and the cost is really awesome for, yeah, you could pull up the app. So the app launches, you can see I'm visible, and
Dude, okay, you should say that.
You do this. There you go. So you can see that everything is visible. We're all visible. So what this does from a narrative perspective, from a point of view of storytelling, is that it eliminates the concept of a director in many senses, or a director of photography, where they choose what to show. Here, the user becomes the director of photography or the director, and is able to see not only what is being said on this side of the lens, but also on the other side of the lens. So it opens up a whole new dimension. Obviously, Akash has created it also where you can actually go live on Facebook and YouTube and all of that stuff. His background has been in technology, but he doesn't know what an amazing thing he has actually created for the film people, and this usually goes average for like 60, 70K, what is being made outside India. Here it's very low. I won't give out his pricing because it may change it later. It just launched it, but it's really, really low. We wanted to kind of demonstrate the technology for everybody, and this is 360 viewing. I think, yeah, other question, I lost my thought.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, you can look at the downside as well. So you can see my hand as well as the sky right there, right? I mean the above. So it captures everything around us. And then if you have the goggles, which we haven't brought to demonstrate, you could also move your head around. You don't have to go like this with your hand. You will be able to see it. So you will feel as if you're there.
And from a storytelling point of view, this is a brave new world. This is an opportunity to tell stories that have never been told before in ways that never been told. There's going to have to be some revolutions in directors' thinking about how, and writers' thinking about how they're going to tell stories. It's going to be amazing.
I wish media came actually to the expo yesterday, where you could have seen 14 such products. Unfortunately, because it is something new, there's not a lot of knowledge around it, and media doesn't cover it as much. But this is, imagine if you were going from a silent camera into a sync sound, or going from a black and white into color. These are huge revolutions for the film industry, and this is the first year IFFI has recognized such innovations, which we're very grateful for. In terms of the actual technicality. So you see how filmmakers and film directors, which would get a lot more press and people would love to come for, they innovate in storytelling. They are telling you better and better stories. What we're working on is increasing the method or the technology, innovating and the method and technology of the storytelling, which deserves, I would say, equal attention and love, because the more we encourage this sort of innovations, the further the medium collectively will go. Like A.R. Rahman, for example, all of a sudden has made like 360 films, which you guys could see here, which is really nice. He's been involved, I think, in the past few years. So, yeah, go ahead.
This camera is taking reality and making it 360. So you would be using what we call a virtual reality headset, but you would be seeing the real world. Okay, up until this point, those experiences inside the headset were created in 3D. They were simulated. So, and what's going to be interesting is that now we're going to see the ability to move the two. So you may shoot video inside a camera like this, where you can look around in reality, and you'll have augmented and virtual reality experiences by adding 3D, adding layovers, adding many different things that can merge the reality of the video, that's done in the real world, with virtual things. If I have to describe myself in one word, I describe myself as a storyteller. And as I think about this technology, I think your question about what's reality is going to be, it's going to be challenged. Okay, filmmakers are going to bring us into stories where we may think something's happening, and then we're going to turn our head and we're going to realize it's something totally different. And the technology is going to let us. Now, I don't know if that answers your question in terms of real reality, but in terms of filmmaking, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's a great question. You see, for film producers, we have always, you're going through school, you're taught about how to think cinematically within a certain structure of, let's say, from dimensions of a 2D dimension, and now this is bringing in a whole, let's imagine if you were trained how to be a photographer in black and white, and then all of a sudden someone gives you a color film camera. Like, you're thrown off, you don't know what to do. So my first experiences were creating, I had a show on television So I was shooting my television show, which was an interview-based show, in 360. I'll tell you the experience, which is very interesting, is, you know, as a documentary filmmaker, whenever, let's say I'm interviewing someone, there were times you can, if someone is saying something, if you're dozed off or you're not properly, because you're always behind the camera and you're safe. 360 doesn't allow you to do that. 360 makes you be on your toes all the time because you too are on the camera. So not only is what you ask and what people react to is shown, but also the people behind it is also shown. So you get to see the whole experience. So it's a whole new dimension, you know. Imagine, so on television, on 2D, you can move to the left, right, and so now with 360 or 3D, you can also move front and back and up and down. So we have never been taught in the filmmaking process how to actually play with space of going forward and backward and up and down, and how it actually, there's a 360 film, if you guys want to see it, about this person in prison, and they talk about how at times they feel this out-of-body experience. So you're watching in this 360 and all of a sudden the whole camera or the whole space moves up. So you actually get to have an out-of-the-body experience, which is really crazy. So there's a lot of interesting things the technology allows you to do, and it's an experimental field. So I think people who will succeed in this space, who come, are people who are not shy about trying and failing, because you will do a lot of content and it may not make sense, it may not be as good, but you just have to be able to be vulnerable as a creator and just create and experiment, and hopefully you get a few things right. So, yes. Is the creation of content you're talking about, and does technology reduce the quality of the content? I would say for the first few years, maybe, because it's an experimental experience. Okay, we're experimenting with content. You may not see the most amazing content, like the documentary that was explored here is a very short documentary I had done, 10-15 minutes. You know, you may say, okay, it's not the best documentary in the world. And that's probably true. But we're experimenting with other elements of documentary storytelling, right? So for first few years, I would say that would be there. But I think as the technology and content creators work hand in hand, which you see today on this panel, where you see creators and the technology enablers working hand in hand, that's where you will see growth. So for example, Akash will give me his 360 camera to experiment on, do photography and video on it. So as we work together, we give feedback. For example, I already gave him feedback that, if I'm putting, as a film producer, if I'm putting the camera here, see it's the upside down, the phone is upside down. Where will I put the selfie stick, or where will I put the tripod, which I usually put, this way? Because if you put the tripod now in the back like this, like let's say you have a selfie stick, it shows in the 360 camera. So it shows. So that's a problem, that's a technology problem now that he has that feedback he will go and try to solve. Is there another way we can put it somewhere else? But it's only through, and that's why I think all of us three kind of are here to talk about that, because it's content will always be there. It's the more people learn to actually speak each other's language and work together, that's where you will see growth happening in this space. And if you liked just the few things we have talked here, there were 14 others, companies innovating in AI, what were some other ones? Blockchain technology, Internet of Things, what else was out there?
There was a couple of very empowering for filmmakers, creatives. There were websites that helped them sell their content or arrange their teams to different things.
So there was about these 14 other companies. All of them are doing their little part up in this process. I would, as a media people to you guys, I would say please reach out to them as well. And you've just covered VR and immersive storytelling. Please reach out to them if you're interested, so you can cover other topics in this space as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.